everyone. I'm sorry to be a little late, but sometimes we're the victims of our own successes. There's a lot of construction going on and off the turnpike. We brought millions of dollars to New Jersey from the infrastructure bill that we passed. That's the good news. People are at work. We'll eventually have safer, cleaner air and less time in traffic. But along the way, the work has to be done. And so I thought I gave myself with an hour and 20 minutes to get to Monroe. I thought it was enough. Maybe I need an escort the next time to our police officer. So thank you for your forbearance. And of course, I'm joined by your Congresswoman, who is just an exceptional advocate for Monroe, for her congressional district, a powerful legislator sitting on the Appropriations Committee that determines how funding is going to be set. And so she's a tremendous ally of this. So we stand here together at this great moment. Mayor, thank you for your leadership, along with the Municipal Council. We get a lot of requests from different communities across the state. The 9 million people that I represent in New Jersey, the 500 plus communities that make New Jersey home. It's challenging. We'd like to do them all, but we have to prioritize them. And one of the things and how we prioritize is when a community makes the most compelling case. And your mayor and the Municipal Council made a compelling case. And so that's what we are here celebrating today. And your own background as a planner obviously is incredibly helpful. I appreciate Director Rios as someone who's been a long time friend and someone we've worked together with as well as the other county officials, legislative officials, and community members who call Monroe home. After being battered by wind and rain and floods over the past few years, Middlesex County is finally getting the help it deserves. It's no surprise that floods are the leading hazard identified in the county's mitigation plan. Every year, this area can see millions of dollars in losses due to damage to property and infrastructure, to the ecosystem, to the local economy. I'm sure we've all seen the images of boats floating up and down the streets in nearby Helmetta during water rescues after Tropical Storm Henry and Hurricane Ida. And I want to salute all of our first responders who did such a fantastic job during that period of time. Thank you for your service. But for many communities located along waterways and low-lying areas, it doesn't take a hurricane or a superstorm to flood their streets. All it takes is a few rainy days in a row for flooding to impact their livelihoods. Residents here in Monroe, especially our seniors in Rossmore, who experienced significant flooding during Henry, certainly understand that. The cascading effects can be devastating. And when hundreds of thousands of New Jerseyans are at risk of flooding, it's our responsibility as elected officials to step in and help. Whenever I think of flood mitigation, I think of the proverb we all learned growing up: an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. In real terms, it's been shown that for every dollar spent on mitigation, the federal government saves $6 on disaster relief spending. In this latest round of appropriations, the Congresswoman and I were able to include what are known as earmarks. Now, what does that mean? It means not that this comes through some formula process that the town qualified for. It means that we, as the elected representatives of the people of New Jersey and her congressional district, listen to what it is that local communities are saying is their need. And we specifically designate the money for that community within the federal appropriations bill. So this is a question of choice, not that it was going to happen anyhow. Specific projects that local municipalities identify for us, and then we weigh against competing interests. And as I said earlier, we wish we could include all of them. But we do the hard work of sifting through the proposals to identify the best use of the funding. And when the municipality of Middlesex County sent us a proposal to assist with their county flood management plan, I joined Senator Booker and Congresswoman Watson Coleman in championing the request. So today we're proud to announce that thanks to our efforts, $1.1 million will be put towards addressing gaps in flood resiliency planning in southern Middlesex County. funding will go towards hiring a multidisciplinary team of planners, designers, engineers, and ecologists, folks who can leverage their experience to help make this region as flood-proof as possible. Working together with regional partners, they will make sure that their work takes into account the most vulnerable and underserved residents in Middlesex. They'll make sure that their proposed solutions are equitable, innovative, and inclusive. And most of all, the team of experts will make strides towards adapting Middlesex County's infrastructure for a changing climate that promises to bring stronger storms more frequently. This grant is part of my larger efforts for Middlesex County. I helped deliver $11 million for projects across Middlesex, and I'm proud of the provisions that I wrote in the American Rescue Plan that brought Middlesex County $160 million, and Monroe specifically over $4.7 million. My hope is that this grant funding for Middlesex County is a down payment on flood mitigation projects to come. I am leading a bipartisan effort in the United States Senate to renew our national flood insurance program. It needs to be reasonable. It needs to be cost effective. We have to do more mitigation. But when FEMA makes a flood insurance so expensive that 1 million property owners who presently hold insurance are dropping it because it's too expensive, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And so we are leading a bipartisan effort to also have that as a provision. But what Congressman and I really want to do is mitigate so people don't go through floods in the first place, so we don't have disaster and then therefore money that is spent in that regard. And that's what we're focused on. So we're thrilled that we are here uplifting this funding as an example of government doing its right work for New Jersey families who call this place home, from Cransbury to Plainsboro, Spotswood to North Brunswick. This funding brings them closer to the day when the Raritan River is not the devastating flood risk that it has been. It brings them closer to the day when once-in-a-generation storms don't trap them in their home without power for days. And it brings them closer to the day when their neighborhoods and loved ones are protected against the effects of extreme weather we've seen over the past few years. So with that, again, let me turn to the Congresswoman. If I'm in a fight in Congress, I want Bonnie Watson Coleman in the foxhole.
I have known the senator for a good 3 or 4 decades. I knew him when my dad served with him in the legislature. I've always been an admirer of his, and it is my blessing to be a partner in the House of Representatives with this amazing senator who knows New Jersey like the back of his hand and works very hard for New Jersey, but also for this country. So thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be here. Good morning to all of you. Good morning, Mayor. Good morning, Director Rios. Good morning, Nancy Pinckney. Good morning to the first responders. I was watching you all as the senator was talking about you, and you're so humble. You just kind of look down like you don't want any attention. You just want the opportunity to do the work, and we're grateful for that. Thank you to the representatives of the Homeowners Association, and to my conservationist who is here, getting opportunity to say hello to a number of people and finding that there's so much diversity of interest and concern right here in this room this morning. Thank you for being here. I'm delighted and blessed to be the representative from the 12th Congressional District. Central Jersey communities like Monroe in particular have suffered devastating flooding for generations. And in 2021, alone Hurricanes Henri, sounds better, was a horrible experience, but the word is pretty, and Ida caused more than $40 million in property damage in Middlesex County. Climate change will only make these storms more frequent and more severe. And we must do more to prepare our communities for this alarming new normal. And that means updating our 20th century infrastructure to withstand our 21st century challenges. And I'm proud of the work Congress has already done to rebuild, reinforce, and revitalize our infrastructure. Thanks to the Bipartisan Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, America's roads, bridges, and railways will finally see some desperately needed modernization. And New Jersey will see its fair share too. However, local problems like flooding here in Middlesex County demand our focused solutions. Through my work on the House Appropriations Committee, I fought to make sure that Monroe Township and Middlesex County have the funding they need to keep residents safe from flooding. As New Jersey's only congressional appropriator, it is among my top priorities to deliver investments that meet the unique needs of the people that I have been elected to serve. I know from speaking to Monroe residents and local leaders that many felt left behind when victims of Henri did not get the same attention from FEMA as the victims of Ida. While my office doesn't have control over those decisions, I was not going to let that stand in the way of getting resources to my constituents to prevent future tragedy. Since my days as an appropriator in the New Jersey General Assembly, I've known that a government's budget is a direct reflection of its values. That is true even at the federal level, and if not more so today. I will always use my position, not only as an appropriator, but as a public servant to deliver real change for Central Jersey communities that have put faith in me. So I'm happy to be here today to support this project. I am glad that we were able to identify important projects to local communities and to say this is where I want my priority to go. I'm glad that it is outside of the normal formula process, which sometimes leaves us out of the largesse. But I tell you that as long as you elect Senator Menendez and Bonnie Watson Coleman to the Senate and to the House, you're always going to have a fighter in the halls of Congress for the things that are important to you. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you again. Our next speaker